Hey everyone, this is the Wealth Building Educator here with a special holiday edition of the channel. So I just wanted to do a quick video about a Facebook post I saw earlier today from my buddy Cody Garrett in one of our financial groups. I mean, it was really cool what he posted, and I think you'll probably agree with me. Let me go ahead and share this with you. Okay, so on the post, basically it said, "This is the best Christmas gift ever. After my grandmother Nana passed away earlier this year, I was the executor of her estate. When going through her financial files, I found this one-page financial plan my grandfather, Papa, wrote decades before. These are timeless financial principles I will keep in my office. Nana and Papa weren't alive when I worked as a financial planner, but I know they will be proud." So these are some of the things basically that were in the note, and I'll show you the note in a minute. Avoid overdrafts, eliminate non-essential charging, pay church pledge bi-weekly off the top, stop drawing out of savings and loan account, reduce driving by combining errands and riding bikes, pay cash for gas when possible, pay $50 to $100 a month into Nana's credit union account to save for a sewing machine, pay bills on time, especially the mortgage, and sell some things. So take a look at that right here. That's the financial plan, which is super cool. They got it framed. And these are things, obviously, these principles that they were probably passing down their family generation. They were probably passing these things down. It had probably been passed down to them, these principles. And clearly it has resonated with Cody as he has become a highly respected financial planner. So they basically have changed their financial family tree, and they've, helped to lead towards generational wealth by these basic principles. So I wanted to share some basic principles that I have actually come up with and some things that we are practicing. And these are things that, you teach your children, they will be highly successful moving forward. So let me pull this up real quick. So I have the 10 steps to financial success. And number one is to calculate your net worth. As I said in the previous video, it is super duper important to know where you stand. We could say this, we could say that, but it means nothing if we don't know what our financial picture looks like. So you have to get out and get that pen and pad out, calculate everything, write down all your debts, write down all your assets. So you take your assets, put it on top, you take your liabilities, put it on bottom, do a minus sign, and you subtract, and that is your net worth. So if you have $100,000 in assets and you have $50,000 in debts, you have $50,000 net worth. Now you know where you have to, where you stand, so you know where you have to go from there. Calculate your net worth, number one. Number two, create a realistic budget. I say realistic because we can have a crazy budget where we put $15 a week for grocery shopping, but we know that's not gonna last. We know that's not gonna work. And I will say that in the past, when we have had unrealistic budgets, we actually have overspent. So you need to have a realistic budget. Otherwise, you're gonna get frustrated, and it will help lead you to giving up on your plan. Create an estate plan. So that includes, having some kind of living will, or having a will, or something like that, a trust. Just make sure you know that if something happens to you, that your family is not fighting over your money. A lot of people don't have much to fight over, unfortunately, but still, if you don't even have a plan to tell what happens, child, the mother or the father of the family die, then that is just going to make people even more frustrated. And I have seen it cause many fights over a couple $1,000s. So make sure we get that estate plan. Get a 20 or 30-year term life insurance plan. There are so many various websites that you could go to get the proper plan. I'm a huge fan of term insurance. I have always believed you buy term insurance and you invest the difference. So the purpose of term insurance is to cover you during your working years or while you have dependents. The reason a 20 to 30-year level term policy usually is sufficient is because by that time, if you have been working your plan and you've been building wealth, well, by year 20 or year 25 or year 30, you are totally self-sufficient now. And that's what we call self-insured. You don't have to rely on your insurance anymore. So that's why you have to get like a 20 to 30 year level term policy. Save for a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. I mean, it's self-explanatory. If you have secure jobs, I lean more towards the 3-month side. If you have somewhat unsecure jobs or something where you haven't been there for a long time and you know that it's a volatile position, maybe look at the 6 month, or depending on your situation. Some people even have the 12-month emergency plan. If I'm not mistaken, Our Rich Journey, some of the financial independence legends and pioneers, I believe they carry 12 months cash. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Work yourself out of debt by the snowball or avalanche methods. Some people do the snowball, some people do the avalanche. You have to do what's best for you. The snowball method basically is you taking all of your debts and you list them from the smallest debt to the largest debt, and you knock out that smallest debt as quickly as possible. And then as you pay off the smaller debts, you're gaining momentum, and that snowball is continuing to get larger, and you're putting that payment towards your next smallest debt and then your next smallest debt until you finally get one payment, and that is the largest debt. Some people prefer the debt avalanche method, which is where you take the largest interest rate and you list it from largest interest rate to smallest interest rate first. And then you pay as much as you possibly can on that larger interest rate. And then you work the method down that way. I've seen both ways work well. My wife and I did a combination of the two. You pay off those small ones first, but then if you have larger interest ones that don't make sense to keep around, then you pay that off as well. So you do it kind of simultaneously. So figure out what works for you and what's going to keep you motivated and keep you in the game. Number 7, invest at least 25% of your money into index funds. So my 15-year-old son, he got a job recently, and we are telling him to invest 50%. And even then, it's like he has all his money sitting in his regular checking account while he's investing 50% into index funds. Well, obviously, as you get older and you might have kids and things like that, maybe 50% is way too much, but 50% really is how a lot of people are attaining FIRE. They're, becoming financially independent and retiring early. My thing is, if you can just do 25% off rip for the moment you get your first job for the rest of your life, 25% will get you where you need to be. And it will get you used to living on that smaller amount of money, which is why I'm a huge fan of the pre-tax. If you have to do some pre-tax, some post-tax, I'm fine with that. Drive reliable, paid for used vehicles. We have a Honda and we have a Toyota. Those are two of the best vehicles that are out there. I'm not going to be tone deaf or anything like that. Obviously, I understand car payments are definitely going to be something that most people will have to do. If you can possibly get a 3-year car payment where the payment is super low and you can put some money down, a decent amount down, fine. Now it's even more difficult to get affordable used cars because of the whole, ever since COVID, some people they have equity in their cars, which was completely unheard of 1.5 years or 2 years ago, but that's just how it is right now. But ultimately, if you can get a vehicle and pay it off and drive it for as long as possible, that is optimal. Consider minimalism. So I have learned through the years that the more stuff we have, the more miserable it makes us. So you need to ask yourself, do the things that you own bring you closer to happiness, or does it bring you away from happiness? The stuff you own, does it own you or do you own it? You need to ask yourself these questions. Are you buying things that try to make you happy? And are you trying to top those things whenever the happiness wears off? Remember the principle of, what we talked about earlier, the hedonic treadmill, also known as the hedonic adaptation. You buy all of these things and you think they're going to make you happy, and they might make you happy for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. Ultimately, that happiness wears down. You are stuck with whatever the payment attached is for 5 years and maybe even 30 years. But the euphoria that you felt is slowly but surely going away. And now your baseline has changed. So now you might have to drive a Maserati to make you happy. Now you have to top that. You can't ever go back to a Honda. You can never go back to a Lexus. So just keep that in mind when you are looking at possibly going into minimalism. Now, minimalism is different for everybody. So some people might own 10 outfits. Some people might own 100 outfits. Well, that person that owns 100 outfits, they may have owned 1,000 before. The person that owns, 30 outfits may have owned 100 before. So it's all relative to you, right? So you need to figure out what's going to work for you and minimize. And just know that the more stuff that you own and the more expensive those things that you own are, the more it's going to cost you in the long run. And ultimately, the more time that you're going to spend doing things that you don't necessarily enjoy doing. So consider minimalism. And I would love to have a chat more about minimalism a little later. I'll probably do another video about it because it's kind of changing the way I look at things. And finally, lift as you climb. So lift as you climb basically is, as you get more successful, as you gain more fame and more freedom, as you make more money, as you become more influential, I am a firm believer that you should be trying to bring as many people as possible with you. I've helped countless number of people in the financial game, just having conversations with them, not even expecting anything in return. Now, I have recently got into the financial coaching deal where it's actually like an income generating thing. But at the same time, I have had multiple conversations through the years that it's just free game, because I truly do believe that the more people that are successful in our society, the better it is collectively for everyone. And I will go to my grave believing that. I don't get knowledge and keep it from others because I want to get knowledge from other people as they receive it. So just pull people up as you climb. As you get knowledge, share that knowledge. People borrow from other people all the time. There aren't a lot of original ideas out there. Funny story, my wife told me about a business idea she had a couple of years ago. And I said to myself, I'm pretty sure that idea is out there. And last week, she said, that was my idea. She saw it in the magazine. And she was like, that was my idea. And I was like, I know. I mean, think about how many people, over 7 billion people in our society, a lot of people are going to have the same thoughts, right? So not a lot of ideas are necessarily original. Even some content that you see on YouTube or online, it might be something that somebody borrowed from someone else. So just keep those things in mind. Don't be afraid to share your wonderful ideas with others, and don't be afraid to lift others as you climb, because ultimately it's going to improve you as a person as well. So, hey, I appreciate you all. Really cool post by Cody. It really made me think about, hey, what are some basic things that I can teach my kids, and what have I been teaching my kids that I actually could do a little checklist with and share with you all to help you going into the year 2022, which I can't believe is here already. But I'm looking forward to the new year. I hope you all have wonderful holiday season. Happy New Year. And please continue to support the channel. We just hit 800 subscribers, which is astronomical, relatively speaking, compared to where I was at the beginning of the year with about 1 or 2 followers. So continue to share this content. And I appreciate you all. 2022 is going to be the best year that I've ever had. And I'm 100% sure it's going to be the best year you've ever had. So continue to support. You all have a good one.